What's up, Bulls Nation? And welcome into CHGO Bulls Pregame, presented by PointsBet. Use that promo code CHGO when you sign up to live your bet life. I'm Matt Peck. Welcome in. Hey. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck, unless you're a Bucks fan. You can follow Big Dave on Twitter at BowBAWL Sports.
Especially if you're a Bucks fan.
Will Gottlieb is on Twitter at Won'tGottlieb. We are at CHGO_Bulls. Hanging out here at our West Loop studios. Our producer Joey running the show. We got Natalie hanging out
Cody.
with us as well.
Hey, man.
Cody's still here because he never leaves. I seriously have never seen Cody not
Wait,
here.
Ben didn't wave. I waved, man. Ben didn't wave. There you are. Come on, man. You're not too cool for a wave. He too cool for me.
You know why Cody's here?
What?
Because we got Sweet 16 games on tonight.
I'm about to say there's some gambling involved.
And we have bets in.
Bro, I am concerned about him. Have you looked at him, though? Like, I looked at his eyes, man. He's not there. He's not there, man.
He's
the
locked
hair
in.
is all over the place.
Oh, he's there.
No, he's not there.
There
bro.
is focused on basketball and gambling on basketball.
Like I said hello to him, and he said, spread, parlay. That's
Right.
the first two words out of his mouth.
You're not there. The only thing that's there is Cody and basketball and gambling.
So it's like March Madness and NCAA across my face when he sees you.
Yes.
Okay, all right. That makes
As
sense.
opposed to bulls across your chest.
Oh, you lucky. Where's the sound,
That's
Joey?
incredible spirit over here.
Hit him.
Whoa, did I miss something? What's sound?
The neuralizer, man. You gotta be ready. Gotta be
I don't
ready.
know if
Damn it.
Joey knows that is an auto neuralizer.
He's
That
right.
phrase.
That's true.
We got to send him to the Boylan quote.
Whoa. Easy with that, Will.
There you are. There
Sorry,
you are.
he who must not be
See,
named.
but I snuck mine in there.
Yeah.
I snuck mine in
See,
there.
that's why I have to keep it near me because y'all sneaky out here.
I
You know
found
what
it.
mean?
It's
Y'all
down
mad
there.
sneaky. I just didn't grab it, but I'm gonna have it ready.
We'll have it ready for
post-game.
next time.
I'll be ready.
Somebody was actually in here. I don't remember who was poking around back there and was like, "What the hell is this thing?" Oh, that's Big Dave's neuralizer for when somebody talks about.
If
It's
someone
just
is
the
not familiar
neuralizer.
with Men in Black, it could be mistaken for something very, very different.
See, man, I worry about your minds. I do. I'm concerned about them. That's the reason I have to leave it open. And just sitting out, just leave it open, man. Some people are like, what is this? Like, look, man, it's a neuralizer, all right? It's a neuralizer. For
Get your head out of the
children.
gutter.
Should we talk about the
Out of
basketball?
there.
Should we talk about the basketball game we're about to watch?
No, but yes.
We got Bulls Pelicans on deck tonight.
Yeah.
And hey, guess what? For a change of pace, we got good news, bad news on the injury front. Good news. Zach LaVine in after dealing with this hobbled knee for weeks.
Yeah.
He is a go.
Yeah.
But we learned earlier today, after a questionable tag, DeMar DeRozan sitting out tonight, resting a strained adductor, a.k.a. groin, that Billy said pregame felt tight after their game on Tuesday. Is that the deal?
It sounds like he's been dealing with a little tightness there for a while. He didn't specify how long, but basically he said, I trust DeMar. DeMar knows his body. They took some imaging today, and basically it's precautionary. They don't want it to get any worse. It is a mild strain. Don't know how long he'll be out, but something to keep an eye on. As just, the only good player on the Bulls who hasn't really been injured this year, they need to spread the love.
Well, let me ask, do you think, can you now equate some of these games we've seen from him with that injury?
Do you mean in terms of the way that
The way he's looked, the way
Just
he's
like
played.
his efficiency shooting dipping a little bit.
Right, stuff like that.
Could be. I think a lot of it, and I wrote about this today in my column about the Bulls offense just absolutely tanking over the past, month or so. Is just the way, like, people keep talking about it. It's the trapping. It's all this, but it's like, it's really true. They cannot figure out how to beat this trapping. And I think that's a lot of it. He's forcing a lot of his normal shots, but now he's being double teamed while he's doing it. So I think it's probably a combination of all these things where he's tired, even though he'll never admit it. He is tired. He is carrying a huge burden. You can't really trust other guys to make plays because they haven't shown they can do it. And also, probably not feeling great.
And speaking of tired, our pal Mark K pointed this out, I think earlier today on Twitter, as far as DeMar and his minutes this season. I knew they were up there. I did not know just how far up there. I think he said, coming into tonight, DeMar's like third in the league in minutes.
Wow.
And the most minutes per game he's played since the 14-15 season.
Wow.
I think we got a little spoiled and just took it for granted that he was playing all these games, that he was starting in the All-Star game, not taking that vacation that, he's probably had off for the past couple of years.
Right.
Maybe it is just kind of catching up to him in his body. I mean, he's 32.
Right. That's going to take a toll at some point in time, man.
32, an old fogey.
Yeah.
This is the guy who
Basketball
turned 35 last week.
And is still hurt from falling off the ladder.
Yeah, and I'm hurt from falling off a ladder. Speaking of other hurt people, no Brandon Ingram for the Pels tonight.
Yeah.
He was doubtful and now earlier tonight officially ruled out with a hamstring. But they do get Larry Nance Jr. active tonight.
Yeah.
It is his Pels debut. He has been hurt since that trade at the deadline that brought him to New Orleans from Portland. So we will see Larry Nance Jr. in a Pelicans jersey for the first time tonight. He had a pretty good game in a Bulls-Blazers game earlier this season.
He's a good player. I really wanted the Bulls to get him during the Lowry Markkanen trade.
Right.
They basically,
I think a lot of Bulls fans
They basically had that trade, but ended up sending Nance to Portland and getting Derrick Jones Jr. plus Portland's lottery-protected pick back.
Right.
And then at the deadline, I thought it was another opportunity for the Bulls to go after him. He's a really good player. He can shoot it. He can play make in the short roll. He can defend. Not going to protect the rim much, but good positional defender, good help defender. He's a really nice player.
Yeah.
And still no Kyra Lewis Jr. for the Pels. He's been out for a while.
True.
And still no Zion. I saw a clip of him doing some impressive dunk in an empty gym.
I think
on
it was
Twitter.
like,
Did you see the floor?
Thank you.
The
Thank you.
floor
Thank you. Thank you.
Literally, when he
Thank you.
when he takes off and then lands
This
again,
guy.
it moves.
It moves. I've watched it like the Zapruder film.
It's
man.
concaving
Just
in.
20 times. I just watch it back and to the left. I just sit there and I look at it. Go watch it. Pause it. The floor bounces.
I didn't notice the floor, but what I did notice when I watched it was that like when he lands, I like wince for his knees because it's so forceful.
It is, man.
My God.
But dude, I'm telling you, when he takes off, that joint moves, and when he lands, it moves. It bounces. It's springy.
It's kind
weird.
of interesting because, he and Ja have obviously their careers will be contrasted.
Yes,
Yeah.
Because it was 1-2 pick.
For sure.
But the way that they play, just completely different styles, but they really do scare me just jumping because they're completely polar opposite body shapes and all this, but they're both
But neither
so
body shape
subject
should be
to
able
injury.
to fly as
And they
high
both
as they
do.
fly.
They both do.
It's nuts.
And Ja is out too going to be out for another 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just saw that a
Yeah.
couple of weeks with a knee tweak.
Yeah.
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 Hope he's okay.
I hope for both of them they can stay healthy.
Yeah.
It's been
seriously.
one of
Such
the greatest
exciting
stories
players.
of the NBA this
One of
season.
the best, my favorite player in the league.
My goodness.
Love Ja Morant.
All right, so as far as where the Bulls stand coming into tonight, Joey, let's take a look at those most recent Eastern Conference standings. You see there the Bulls still sitting in 5th. They are a few games back now of that trio of Philly, Milwaukee, and Boston. A game clear of Cleveland, 2 clear of Toronto, and we've got Cavs-Raptors tonight, right?
Sure
Big
do.
game between those two teams chasing the Bulls. I guess Bulls fans should be pulling for Toronto to kind of keep the Cavs at bay a little bit? Or, I mean, what do we think?
I tweeted that out this morning, and some people I think agreed with me that Bulls fans should be Raptors fans tonight. They've got the tie break against the Cavs now because they won that game.
Right.
I'm sorry, the Raptors now. They won that game on Monday. They play the Cavs on Saturday and have a chance to win that tiebreak.
Yeah.
But if they can just beat each other up and both stay a game or two behind the Bulls at all times, that'd be great. But I think the other side of that argument is, well, now they're basically in a great spot to stay out of the play-in. So let's root for the Cavs to just keep the Raptors at bay.
Yes.
And at 5 and 6, not a huge difference. But looking at the way that the Eastern Conference standings are shaking out, any one of these top 4 teams could end up being the 1st seed or the 4th seed.
Right.
It's super
Especially
tight.
the
Even
way that
Heat
Miami has played recently.
have lost 2 in a row and are just completely melting
Fighting
apart.
each other? Yes.
I think I actually like that other frame of mind as far as who Bulls fans should want to pull out that game. 5th or 6th, if 4th is out of the question, and it's kind of looking like 4th is out of the question, I don't really care because it's not like you can predict. Those teams are tied 3 ways for 2, 3, and 4 right now. It's not like you can, pick your first round opponent by trying to finish 5th or 6th. I just don't want to fall to 7.
Yeah.
So in that instance, I'm kind of thinking you know what, Cavs, we'll flip flop 5 and 6 for you. I don't care. Just keep the Raptors. out of there and keep them down at 7.
And that's exactly what my mind frame is on this as well, because especially if Cleveland gets this victory and let's say the Bulls lose this tonight, like the kind of game that's going to be on Saturday, that's pretty much for that spot. And that's fine for me. I'm okay with that.
The other,
I don't have to worry about 7 anymore. 6 is where we had them coming in anyway. So I'm okay just as long as you get me to the playoffs. I'm okay.
For sure. No, that makes sense. I would say the one other interesting thought there is that Kyrie Irving is now allowed to play in New York, but still not allowed to play in Canada. So the 7-8 game, if the Raptors are 7 and the Nets are 8, would be in Toronto. Kyrie would not be allowed to play.
Wow.
So there's just an interesting wrinkle there.
That is interesting.
I love that.
My
I
guess
hope that
is, my guess is that they still end up winning that second game, which would be at home.
Yeah.
But I'm just here for the chaos. So
Yes.
give me something. Give me something funky.
Yes.
Hit it up with it. Come on with it.
And as far as the Pels are concerned, they are still very much alive in the Western Conference, coming in at tonight 30-42. So the exact flip record of the Bulls at 42-30. They are currently 10th, final playing spot in the West, only a half game back of LeBron and the Lakers for 9th, 1.5 games clear of the Spurs, who are in 11th. You know, that this is a Pels team that's dealt with a lot of injury issues throughout the season. Up and down season. I think they've been playing better since the trade deadline.
Absolutely,
And kind of, you know, messing with their roster a little bit. We'll talk about CJ McCollum a little bit later.
Yeah.
But this is a Pels team that very much has something to play for. You know, obviously they will not be at full strength with no Ingram tonight. A little bit of a break for the Bulls there, but not a team to take lightly because they are fighting for their playoff life over in the West.
Oh, no, not take lightly at all. And CJ McCollum loves playing against the Bulls. He always shows out against the Bulls. On his career high. You remember that game, man? He went insane against the Bulls.
No, I had watched it out. Thanks, Steve.
I apologize. I must say it. Yes, for 3 quarters, he went absolutely insane on the Bulls, man. So, yeah, they're not to be taken lightly. They've been playing really, really well. Getting Larry Nance Jr. back also is huge, who also, again, plays well against the Bulls. And having a guy that size, you know, with the rebounding and the shooting, it's a concern for sure, man. But I'm still going with the Bulls.
They've also got some draft capital at stake here. So they're fighting for that too. I think their pick goes to Charlotte, lottery protected, and then protected 1 through 4 and 15 through 30 to Portland in the Nance trade that netted them CJ McCollum. So they're gunning for the playoffs. They want to make it. This Lakers team is stumbling. Like there's a real chance for them to get in. And you know, this is the great part about the play-in tournament that you get these teams at the end of the season who would otherwise be tanking.
Right.
They're trying hard, but doesn't make it any easier for the Bulls, whose schedule just, you know, we've talked about it. It's not great.
It's not. Let me ask you a question because I want to test something on you real quick. Now, I know your hatred of LeBron and the Lakers. I understand this.
It is vast.
So would you rather see this
Matt,
victory tonight
being passionate against something?
that propels them up to the 9th? Would you rather see that happen, or would you rather see like the Cavs Raptors kind of play out where it still doesn't affect the Bulls in the standings tonight, even if they lose?
Wait, are you asking me if I'd rather get a Bulls W tonight or watch the Pelicans win so that they would move past the Lakers?
I'm testing you. Yes.
Of course I would rather see the Bulls win.
Thank you.
Because the Bulls need this win.
Just checking you, man. I'm just checking
They
you
need
out.
this win.
I have to check. I know how strong
And
your hatred is.
There are still plenty of games between now and the end of the regular season for LeBron and the Lakers to choke.
I think they
and fall.
play each other a
I'm
few
still
more
pulling
times.
for the Spurs to knock the Lakers out of the play-in entirely. It can happen.
He's right. It can.
I think the Lakers and the Pelicans still play each other a few more times, and I want the Lakers to have to go to New Orleans for their play-in game. Not at Staples. No Lakers fans are flying to New Orleans. Like, let's get some chaos.
Although it's not the Staples Center anymore, Will. It's like the
Sorry, the
Dogecoin
Crypt.
Center or whatever the hell they named it.
Crypto.com Center. Excuse me.
Speaking of Dogecoin, tell the people about PointsBet, Big Dave.
You've had better ones. I'm going to let it slide. They can't all be winners. I'm
It's
going to let it
all
slide.
currency on your phone.
It's all right.
It's all the
We're going to rock
same.
with it anyway. I'm going to rock with it anyway, man. This is out for my man Cody right here. The best way to support CHGO is to download that PointsBet app and use that code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. But that's not it. No. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you will receive your free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free t-shirt of your choice from the CHGO Locker. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO Locker, all for making a $50 first-time deposit at PointsBet. And also introducing that PointsBet new feature, live college basketball same-game parlay. I said parlay, Cody. I said, look at his eyes. He started dancing. Look at it. Look at it. He started dancing right there. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did. Yes, for the first time ever, you can build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. And if you want more,
because I know you do.
Oh, you can also boost your live same-game parlays. Watch live, parlay live, and boost live with PointsBet. And now, everybody in Illinois, you don't have to leave the house and go outside in this crappy weather that's happening outside right now. You can download that PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Plus, during PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. During each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Natalie's on the phone right now doing it. She's getting the PointsBet app because once the game starts, you don't just bet. Tell them what you do, Will.
You live your bet life.
Oh, with PointsBet. Hit me one time, Joey.
They've done studies, 60% of the time it works every time.
If you're Sean Anderson, it's more like 5% of the time.
About 5,
Cody's at 60%.
Hey, man, Sean's fighting his way back. He got a W betting on that Blackhawks game last night. Proud of him.
You see how I was ready for that assist you threw out there, Joey? I was ready, bro.
Yeah, and I was at the rim ready to catch that lob.
Man. I'm telling you, we working it out. We getting it together. I like it.
All right. We ready for the parlay tonight?
Come on with it.
Here we go. CJ McCollum, over 23.5. We're going to look at his numbers with the Pelicans since the trade. It's higher than 23.5. I'm going with Vooch 20+. No DeMar tonight, coming off a really strong shooting night on Tuesday.
Love the
Rocking with
enthusiasm.
Vooch to continue that positive momentum, and they need him without DeMar tonight. So 20 or more for Vooch. I'm giving 4 assists or more to both Caruso and Zach. A little less ISO. No DeMar tonight. Hopefully the ball moves around a little bit more.
Get it popping.
And Zach and Alex both get their assist numbers up tonight. And fifth and final leg, Valanciunas to get 10-plus rebounds for the Pels tonight. He's been averaging 11.5 on the season. Their last game, he pulled down 18. And this Bulls team, we're going probably a little bit small ball tonight, and they do love giving up monster rebound nights to the biggest dude on their opposing team. So there it is.
I can't wait for this.
I like it.
Because Will loves the small ball.
I
know
do.
you're completely excited about this.
And Billy was asked about it pregame. Somebody's listened to our podcast. All the questions were off our talking points from yesterday.
Was Billy listening to our podcast?
Billy must have been.
Come on the show, Billy. Come
Hi,
hang
Billy.
out.
You're welcome anytime.
If you're watching this right now, though,
I'm
please
sure
go in the
instead
locker
of
room.
preparing for the game right
Yes,
now,
that's what I'm
he's
saying.
watching
Please go in the locker room
live
right
on
now
YouTube.
and talk to your team.
Hey, Billy, if you're
Bulls
watching,
fans would not be glad to hear that.
No.
make sure you like and subscribe.
Coach Billy.
Hey, Billy, you want a CHGO shirt?
We
They're
got you
pretty
covered.
cool.
They're pretty nice. Get you one. But yet, is this a chance, though, that we see that Derrick Jones Jr. lineup tonight?
I think it might be coming. Billy alluded to it. Definitely being on his radar, but potentially tonight as well. He said he liked it against Philly, kind of by necessity, more so than wanting to put Derrick Jones Jr. on Joel Embiid.
Exactly.
But the activity with him and Javonte being able to front, scramble around, and get their hands in passing lanes, be disruptive. Mark has been saying it. I've been saying it.
Marquette.
Give me some small ball. I want to see what happens. Just because at the very least, you're going to have more space to operate on offense. And on a night where you really need some scoring, get those guys out there, attack closeouts, and get freaky.
Speaking of small ball, just saw the Bulls starting lineup for tonight with no DeMar.
Talk slow.
Billy's putting Io back in there.
Ooh.
So we're rolling with Alex, Io, Zach at the 3, Javonte, and Vooch as our starting
That's
lineup
very
tonight.
small
That
ball.
is small ball.
That is a small ball.
I'm a little surprised. I thought it was going to be Kobe on that one. I'm a little surprised that he went with Io, man. That's interesting. So
Very interesting indeed.
let's see how that works out. Why not? Why not?
And, the
Let's
Bulls,
get nuts.
The Bulls bench, which has been struggling to produce of late, gets even thinner. But it's okay. DeMar, you need a night off.
You need a night off, DeMar DeRozan. Thank you for all you've done, sir.
All right, moving along. Our pal Will here wrote a great column that's available now for our CHGO members on our website about the Bulls' offensive efficiency and how it has plummeted. I did not know it was this egregious. The Bulls had the 4th-ranked offense in the NBA coming in the All-Star break. Post-All-Star break, it's 27th.
That's a plummet.
And this is one of the graphs that, breakdowns that Will had included in his column about where the Bulls' shots are coming from, frequency, and efficiency. And, Will, if you want to break it down for us,
Please.
I mean,
break it down.
It doesn't look good upon first glance.
Yeah, and we were just talking about it. I think, a lot has been made of this whole trapping DeMar situation where basically as soon as he brings it across half court and calls for a screen, 2 defenders are collapsing on him.
Right.
And typically what happens in those situations is the roll man will get a dump off pass. And now with 2 defenders collapsing on DeMar, you're playing 4-on-3.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, why haven't they been able to figure out how to score? That's like the thing that they talk about in every post game is like, once we figure out how to beat these traps, we'll be fine. I don't really understand why it's so complicated. It seems like a very simple thing, but when you look at some of the shot selection and just like frequency on the floor from where they're taking their shots, you're seeing an increased amount of mid-range shots, approximately the same at the rim and lower from the corner. And then, we talked about it a few days ago. Io has been just brutal shooting from the corner. Everybody's 3-point shooting percentage from the corner is way down.
Yeah.
And you're just like leaving points on the table in these advantage situations. So they got to be willing to shoot it. There are a couple plays where, the defense doesn't collapse and Vooch is playing one-on-one. He's got to be willing to pop out and shoot threes as opposed to really like attacking and trying to post up, going face up, I should say, going to the basket. It's been really ugly, and I think a lot of it does stem from DeMar, and then, DeMar's struggling as a result. He's having to shoot over double teams instead of having single coverage isolation. So it's really affecting him. Obviously, we've talked about how tired he is from carrying the load, but this is not making matters any easier. I think Zach not being 100% is definitely contributing. Kobe having this cold streak. Like, it seems silly to say, but a lot of it is just cold shooting. And if they can shoot their way out of this, now defenses have to adjust and can't necessarily trap DeMar at half court.
See, and I think that's also what kind of gives me hope also, because if you're like, okay, it's just shots that they're missing. They're making the right reads, they're making the right moves, but it's shots that's just not going down. And also, the guys from that corner, like you mentioned, Io, Javonte Green, Derrick Jones Jr., not saying they were world beaters on that, but they were solid in their production before the All-Star break from the corner. And as I told you, Derrick Jones Jr. hasn't hit 1-3.
Yeah, and Javonte was like over.
And he's been struggling too.
Javonte was over 45% on corner threes this year.
See what I mean?
And he's really fallen off. But that's what happens when you're relying on guys that are like, have been relatively inconsistent throughout their career.
Yeah.
They have these hot stretches and then they're cold. And especially when most of these shots that they're getting were wide open, it doesn't really make sense to me why now there's hesitance about shooting open threes because like these should be the most open shots that they're getting. They're going 4-on-3.
Yeah, because DeMar is just collapsing everybody and all of the focus on defense. You're going to get open looks. You got to be willing to take them.
And I think it's quick decision making too. There seems to be a lot of like catching and holding, and like the ball needs, it's like the 0.5 rule.
Zach, Kobe, and Io, I think, particularly in this recent stretch of games, have all looked like guys who catch, shoot, are in a catch-shoot scenario, think about it, and then decide not to.
Right.
And then, throw the ball back into the middle of the fray in the paint, and you're just kind of wondering, like, why are all of them hesitant to shoot all of a sudden? These should all be confident three-point shooters. That was something else I thought Billy had to say interesting pregame. Was talking about Io and his kind of recent slump and the fact that teams have tape on Io now and have been able to adjust to his game a little bit, and that now they're going under screens on Io because he's not exactly a pull-up three kind of guy. He's a catch-and-shoot three guy, and that Billy's saying to him, hey, man, you got to have the confidence when your guys go under screens, pull up and take the shot. You're a good shooter, pull up and take the shot.
Yeah, I was just on the Above the Rim podcast. Shout out to my man, Just.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I was talking about. The difference with Io now is that teams are game planning.
He's on the scouting report.
Yep. He is on the board, period. It's DeMar DeRozan, Zach LaVine, and now him. He's there. Teams see how good you have been. It's a compliment, I think, that teams have to game plan for you. But it's also something you've got to figure out. And I know you're a rookie. I get that. But you've shown you've had that capability of figuring things out and being a good basketball player for the Bulls. He's got to get back to that.
And that is the step, like the progression of any good young player from going to like being able to chip in to being a reliable rotation player.
Right.
It's figuring out how to adjust. And Billy even said it, which I thought was really a thoughtful way to put it, is like, there's some indecisive here. It's not a confidence issue, and he needs some solutions to help him.
Right.
As in, he's not like just running around out there trying to figure it out. Like they together have to work out like, okay, if they're going to go over screens, and you're seeing this a lot now where I will catch the ball at the wing and just not even look to shoot, but kind of drive halfway to the elbow and pull up. He's got to be willing to shoot and throw defenses off the scent of what he has been doing.
True.
Right.
True indeed.
All right. So before we get out of here, let's take a quick look at what CJ McCollum has done since this big trade that sent him to.
Woo!
That's right. That's our
Hey,
pal
Ryan.
Ryan, part of our CHGO Cubs content team. Just got back from sunny
He's cool.
Arizona.
And that's
the
why he's
lucky
happy. He's
bastard.
been around in the sun,
Oh my
feeling
God.
good about himself.
Oh, you didn't see Vinny Duber because you were
No.
stuck in traffic.
Yes, I
I
was.
caught Vinny after the Sox show earlier today. That man is red as a lobster, and I was jealous.
This is our note to the NBA to have
Right?
some
Well, I guess
warm
there's
weather.
always summer league in
Vegas.
Vegas.
Yeah, they got Vegas.
But you can't go outside in Vegas in the summer. It's too hot.
Oh, that's fair.
Yeah.
You know,
You
I've
got to
never been.
stay. You got to stay in the gym and just soak in the air conditioning.
Never been to Vegas, man.
I was actually planning to go to
summer.
Vegas
I gotta
like
go.
right now during March Madness / my birthday, but then this happened.
You
This
got,
And I was like,
awesomeness
you got
no.
this damn job.
Oh,
Yeah.
I get to
I
hang with
probably
my
shouldn't
friends
just-
and talk sports.
No,
Oh,
it's a wonderful surprise reason that I'm not in Vegas right now because we're doing this.
yes.
But I really wanted
But
to
it
go
was-
to Vegas.
He couldn't let it. He couldn't let it go. He couldn't do it.
Vegas in March
Yes.
instead of Chicago in March?
You'll take it every time.
Anyway, look what CJ McCollum's been doing for the Pelicans in these 16 games since the trade. His scoring is up by 6.5 points per game from 20 to 26. His shooting from the field from 43.5 to 50.5. Rebounds are up, assists are up by 1.2 assists per game, and there you also see his usage percentage up nearly 4 full points.
My God.
They are saying, "Here, CJ, save us."
There is no
And
greener
he
light.
is doing it, and he was doing it more efficiently than what he was doing in Portland.
Yeah, there's no greener light. And there's nothing above him that he has to worry about. There's no Dame coming. There's no Nurkic either. You know what I mean? There's nothing there that he has to be like, well, I got to make sure they get theirs. No. CJ can go do what CJ does best and put the ball in the bucket and get guys involved. And that rebounding numbers, I think that's also lost in that. He's always been a really solid rebounder, man. I don't think that's talked about enough with him.
CJ is a bucket. We know this, and I think he. You said the green light. Like he's had the green light all year with the Blazers too, with Dame being out, and so I think
Yeah, but
just
there's no
this,
one there anymore, though. That's
This
what I'm
change
saying.
of
There's no
scenery
ceiling.
for him, where he can really be the guy, and I think there's more space around him as well. Like Devontae Graham is just a complete sharpshooter.
Oh, my God.
Jackson Hayes
Speaking
has
of
been
Bulls
playing
killers.
really well. So they've
I had to throw it in, didn't he?
They've got some great shooters around him. Herb Jones is like just after Io, obviously, like the coolest rookie who's not one of the top 5 rookies. So they've got a really nice little team together, and I think CJ is now sort of the engine that makes it run, and he's fine with it.
Yeah, I think Herb Jones belongs in that category with Io as like wonderful, pleasant surprise rookies from this rookie class of, people who maybe didn't necessarily see big things from them out of the gate that are playing really, really well. I love it. Right as we're wrapping up pregame, our pal Mark K throws himself into the comments in all caps just saying, trap game. How is it a trap game? The Bulls are like, what, 2-10 in their last 12
So far, the
Four-
Bulls have played 3
4
trap
and 7
games.
in their last 11
They
games.
played 3 trap games since I've been here, according to everybody, dude. Like, my goodness. But do you think they'll win in Marquette? That's all I want to know. Do you think they're going to win this one, man? Let me know. I'd like to know.
They're
freaking
dogs.
better.
Yeah, I would like to win this
They
one.
are. After the news about DeMar
3, right?
sitting out tonight, it went from Bulls -1.5 to Bulls plus 3.5.
Right. That's what I thought.
That is a insane swing.
DeMar's pretty good.
Yeah, he is. He is pretty good. But you know who else is good?
Who's that?
Zach LaVine. I'm rocking my LaVine Cuisine shirt
LaVine
from back in the
Cuisine.
day, y'all.
Shout out.
Because we need a big night from Zach.
Old
We need a
schooler.
big night from Vooch. And for love of God, Iowa and Kobe, somebody make a 3. Maybe even several. I would really appreciate it.
Be nice.
Enjoy the Bulls game. Hopefully, we're right back here for CHGO Bulls post game talking about a W. We need one. In the meantime, you can follow us on Twitter, Bulls_Peck, Bow, BNWL Sports, at Won't Gottlieb. We are at CHGO_Bulls. For our producers, Joey and Natalie, Will, Big Dave, Matt, enjoy the game. See Red, be good. See you for post game.